Hey, high levelers. Ray Daniel here. And if you've been looking to see a video that really helps you understand how to use AI Studio, how to actually not only create a website, how to use other AI tools to help you build a really good prompt to build a website, and also integrate other things like forms within HighLevel to have products and services that you can actually sell, then this is the video I'm actually creating for you so I can show you how all of this is done. AI Studio is still currently in beta as of this video, July 2026. Now, what is going to be a little bit different is how the AI Studio is actually going to be connected and how I'm connecting different components within AI Studio to the HighLevel system. Now, just to be very clear, there really are at this particular point, according to support, no dedicated connectors between the two. There is a very limited CRM connection. If you ever try to actually have AI Studio create an embedded form that it creates, it can then pass that information into the CRM, but there's really not a direct connection like there is with forms and things like that you're normally used to inside of HighLevel. Secondly, there are zero connections for products, Stripe account connections, payments, how to test all of this stuff. I'm actually taking my website, it's actually in production, and I've rebuilt that using AI Studio because I wanted to do a practical example of what it would really take to take a real live production website, move it over, and still be able to sell my SaaS products on the particular page and have it work and have the SaaS configurator fire. I'm going to go through and explain all of it to you, from the ChatGPT prompt that I used to actually generate it and how I went back and forth with ChatGPT. Then once I move that into AI Studio, how I actually work within AI Studio to fine tune some things. Then from there, how I also did some embedding of some additional forms, as well as some of the product pages and things like that, and show you the final result. Now, just so that this website is not live yet, let me hop over to my computer and start from the basics, because this is where I started in order to really build an effective site. Let me show you. Okay, so right now what I'm on is I'm actually on my Google Business profile for my company. But whenever you want to get started with your website, in order to really be effective with search engine optimization, start working on that perspective, I think you really need to start working with your Google Business profile and actually get it set up correctly and optimize and get your services set up so that Google can effectively find you whenever somebody is searching for you on Google. Then what you end up doing is taking those particular services that you configured on your Google Business profile, then you use that to help the AI system generate pages for each one of those services. So again, Google will rank you based upon your pages, and then you can start doing further SEO optimizations for each service, for each location, for each page, and so forth. So right now, and again, this isn't a Google Business Profile optimization video. I'm not going to go over that. That's a whole other one. But right now, I've edited, and I've used AI for this, by the way. I've used ChatGPT to help me, along with some other Chrome extensions that I've used to look at other people's and look at services. But this right here is the services list that I actually have for my marketing agency: lead generation, nurture campaigns, AI employee services. And here's just all the list of services. And in return, each one of these are broken down so that you're only allowed, it looks like 300 characters on this. But how do you do the search engine optimized descriptions within each service for your particular business? Again, use AI for that. Let AI know, here's my service. I want to sit back and make the search engine optimized for this service, maybe this business name in this city or state, something like that. So now that you've got these particular services built, now I'm going to move into ChatGPT. Okay, I want to do that first. So I'm going to move over and pull this up. But if you take a look here, I don't have these prompts built. This is something that you're going to have to do because this was a one-off. I didn't make it generic for everybody to use, but I just wanted to show you the process so you in turn can go through it yourself. Now, right now, I just simply said, my company is called SMB 360 Marketing. The website is, here's the website. Here's our GPC services. I copied all of the services and just pasted them into here. And then it just says, I'm trying to blow this up a little bit and it looks like I can't inside of ChatGPT, so sorry about that. But we set up review request automations. We help small businesses with inbound calls and put that in there. Now, if I go through and show the full one, I say, here's all the services. Please create me a website structure that I can use in order to represent this new business, and keep the existing pages that I had on my existing website. Just copy those over, copy the same content, things like that over from the existing website. So we went back and forth, and it sat back and evaluated, and it came back with the main SEO issue, but it generated all of this stuff saying, here are the pages that you need to have for your dedicated services on your website. And it generated all of this stuff based upon what you would need for search engine optimization to make sure that you would rank for that particular service in your city, state, area, and maybe even have your company name on there. So after this, it came down, and I want to show you. After that, it says, I'm currently using HighLevel software platform and want to use the new Vibe Coder AI tool to actually build this. Please generate me a script based upon my existing website and the data I've already given you to help the Vibe Coder actually start building these pages and how to build them and so forth. And I basically said, are there any other questions that you need before generating this? What questions do you need before you generate the script? And it came back with, what's your primary service area, primary service phone number, brand colors, logo usage, website style, how you want to have that. So it asked me several questions regarding all of the stuff, which I answered. And then once I answered, it was able to sit back and I uploaded my logo here and just here's all the answers to my questions. I gave it a bunch of other things regarding here's a series of frequently asked questions that I actually had ChatGPT help me generate. So I can generate a lot of FAQs based upon the services that are in my GMB or GBP, Google Business Profile. So I asked it to include these FAQs on the main page as well. And there's a bunch of them on there, but it basically went through and created all of these information. So it created all this stuff. And if you keep scrolling down, it generates some of the code for some of these pages. Here's the things. And so it's a lot here. So basically at the end, what I did is I took that prompt that it helped me generate here. And what I did is I went into, I'm going to close this screen here. I went into the Vibe Coder and I sat back and pasted it into the Vibe Coder. And this is the site that it spit out. Now keep in mind my existing site, and it was built actually just within the HighLevel software platform as a website. So all of this stuff is actually built as websites. So here's kind of what the site looked like before with a lot of frequently asked questions, so forth, and services, pricing, contact page, things like that for this particular contact form. And I actually wanted to use this exact contact form inside of the Vibe Code Builder because I didn't want to use the generic contact us form that it would generate. I wanted to gather more data, and I wanted to use the form itself because the form itself, in turn, you can have triggers and things like that inside of HighLevel that will trigger based upon this form usage. No different than if you embedded this form on a WordPress website. You just copy the code and put it on your particular website, and now you can have a form on a website, the same way you could do with surveys or quizzes or things like that. So, and then based upon the services, you can route stuff and do things. But the biggest thing is that you can actually have a workflow kick off when somebody fills out the contact us form. With the forms inside of the pre-built AI Studio, you don't get that. There are no workflow triggers. I think there might be. It's really weird. You have to go through a trigger and it's like an extended third party something or other. And it's just not native. It's just not what you're used to when it deals with AI Studio. And I'm sure they're going to make this better, but for right now, this is what I had to do to make this thing work. So if you come over here to contact us, I ended up putting this form over here. It's just a different kind of layout of the form. And I just simply went into, for this particular page, went into the form code, copied the form code, and then told the AI Studio to go through and update the contact page, remove the standard contact us form, and replace it with this form code and embed it in here. And it did a great job with that. So it took the code, embedded it, and now this form is no different than a form that you would have on a HighLevel website that would respond to triggers for this form being submitted and so forth. So right now, I just want to kind of go over this. I'm going to try to sit back and see if I can move this over a little bit. There we go. So this right here is just a huge prompt that it was used to create this. It probably took about 15 minutes. It said it built it. I come through here. I'm going to try to blow this up. And I was looking to try to do on each one of these, part of the website is book a free strategy call. So I wanted to actually have it integrate the calendar with this. And right now that was another problem that I had, is trying to integrate the calendars is not as easy as it seems. So what I end up having to do was tell the AI Studio, if you take a look at this, this is what happens. It opens up a pop-up, and then the code for the embed code for your calendar just exists on the pop-up. That's how I solved this particular problem with booking a strategy call. I didn't want it to leave the page. I'd much rather have it be a pop-up. So I just simply copied the embed code and told AI Studio, for all of the book a free strategy call buttons, create a pop-up and embed this code on that pop-up so that all of them basically go to the same thing. And it did a great job with that. It takes direction very well. But the thing about it is that you have to be very specific when you go through here on what it actually updates and the actions that you want it to do. That was some of the problems that I had getting the calendar created. But once I did the pop-up and just told it to just do that for everything across the board to update all of the book a strategy call buttons, that was no problem with it. So now once here, let me see. I had to go through and do some minor tweaks on this, but let me just go back to just the site itself. So overall, I think it really did a really good job. ChatGPT did a good job with giving it pre-filled copy information for me, and including my business, what we do and things like that, so that it can at least get you up and going. And again, there's still some things I want to do here, but this is the site. So here's the site of what it looks like. Again, it's not published. It's currently on the Vibe preview site right now. But I just want to make sure that I had a header, use my new logo, the phone number. I told it to make sure to put the phone number for the company at the top, make it clickable. And this AI receptionist demo. If you're going to be selling AI services, one of the cool things that I would always tell my affiliates to do, the people that sign up with HighLevel under me, is just simply create a demo. You're already going to have, so why not create a demo account? So I have another phone number that I use for a demo account. And if somebody clicks on this, it's like, hey, why don't you go try our demo? It's in the top right corner. And if they click on this, it just simply opens it up and it pre-frames the demo. This way they don't click the button and have it automatically call. This way it gives them an idea. And it just simply says, thank you for reviewing our online demo. Here it is. We have a fake company called Fresh Flow Heating and Cooling. It's just a fake company that we're using. And I just said, here's the scenario. Pretend you're a person and it has a heating and cooling problem. Please make sure that you use the right email address, because there are workflows that are set up on this calendar that's connected to this. It's a test calendar, but that way they can schedule an appointment. When they schedule an appointment, a workflow fire sends them an email and a text message. Oh, this is, hey, thank you for confirming your appointment. And it actually shows them what their customer would get if they were to go online and book it, and gives them a complete demonstration. Now, the cool thing about it is part of the workflow, within 10 minutes or so after the appointment is booked, it deletes the appointment in the workflow. So I clean up the calendar just to make sure people don't book it and things like it doesn't get full with any of that other stuff. So I just delete the appointment. And then when they click on this button, all it does is just simply call. That was pretty cool. That didn't take a lot to get set up. I did have to give it the content on that particular pop-up of what to do, what to put on there, but it followed the instructions very well. And it keeps the color scheme, the size, the font, layouts, all that stuff, it keeps fairly decent. So I don't have to go back and tell it to do all of this other stuff either afterwards. But if you take a look, one of the things that it did do is come back here and list all of your services. It used different icons. I thought that was very nice. So it built all of these things that, again, the services that I use in my Google Business profile. That's why I started with that, because now all of the services are listed here and you don't have to go back and add them. If you start with all of your services on your Google Business profile and then work backwards into the website, then this is what happens. And it's also, I think, just a good practice for doing it with your customers. That way you make sure their Google Business profile is updated, and then their website reflects the services that are on the profile. Basically, there's several one of them that you can, buttons that you can click to get engaged. But here are some of the things that you can actually do to purchase. Now, this is one of the things that I want to get into that was a little bit harder to get done. And this is really the tricky part, is how do you integrate payments? Not just payments, but how do you integrate your SaaS configurator payment option plans in with the AI Studio configurator? So right now it did a great job with pulling all of this information from my existing website. So it pulled that information in and updated it. So from here, what I had to do is work on the buttons here. Now I have the after page of what it took to get here. So let me just take a quick second and show you what it took to get here inside of HighLevel. So I'm going to go back here to the account, and inside of payments, the first thing you have to do is products. You have to pull the products from your SaaS configurator plan in. So notice that it just says SaaS plans. So pull those in, and these are the prices. Now I've updated the prices on these, but here's one of the biggest things that creates a problem is there's no order form. There's no Stripe integration with AI Studio. There's nothing built that connects that yet. Now, here's what I did. I asked AI Studio to build me an order form that you can order from Stripe and so forth. But bottom line is it didn't. It created an order form, but when you click on the button, it didn't do anything. There's no connection to Stripe. There's no connection to your SaaS configurator. If you do have this, there's no automation. None of that stuff works in here without doing this. And here's the key. And I had to go through several support calls to figure this out with support. So what you end up having to do is you actually have to create payment links. Now, if you've ever done this, if you ever have services, you need to simply come in here and create a payment link. And I don't know if I could do this if it'll show, but yeah, here are the services that I have, and I can create a payment link for each one of these. And what it ends up doing, it creates a page. Now, if this is going to be an ongoing service, this isn't a quick pay link. This isn't an SMS text to pay link. This is a permanent link available that you can always put on your website, but I didn't want a link on the website. I wanted it to show an order form. So let me show you what this looks like if you've never dealt with payment links before. And really, just real quick, if you ever come back here, all you do is select your product from here. Let's just say if you wanted that one, the product is configured, you could choose a couple of options, whether or not you want a phone number, use coupon codes, or enable some of this stuff and turn off. There's very limited things that you can do here. So that's not a big deal. But what is a big deal is that the URL to these stay the same. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and just click on copy. I'm going to show you what this page looks like. Now, here's the problem with this. And to me, it's a big problem. My domain name is different than the link to this payment page, because inside of this particular payment page, it actually uses your API URL link. Now, follow me on this. If you remember in the agency, when you set up the white label, you set up a white label URL, but you also set up an API link. What do you want to call all the links that get sent out through text messages and emails? Mine is just simply link.smb360.io. That's the way I set it up. So the link actually goes to that API domain, not into my main domain. So if you can imagine this, somebody's on the website, they're looking to buy, they click the buy button, and then it opens up another page and takes you to another website. If you've ever done that, that's scammy. I don't like that myself because it makes people weird. Why can't I just buy it on the site? So I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that even though it was still my root domain, smb360.io, I didn't like it because it would change the link domain. So what I had the Vibe coder do, and if we take a look here, and I'm going to open up just the review services, here's what you end up getting. You get a complete order purchase where you see here's the cost, and here's all the stuff that's included with it. And then from that, you step back, and I know the prices are different. I need to update those, so don't bang me on that one. But here's the services. But if you notice, it comes in a scrollable area here. And this is, I tried to make this as best I can, but what I told the Vibe coder to do, instead of putting the link on the page, I said, create an iframe and show this links page within the iframe to make it look like a purchase order form. So basically what it is, this is an iframe. If you don't know what an iframe is, it's a frame inside the page, but that frame is actually linked to a different URL than the current domain page you're on. But right now what it does, it makes that page right here, it makes this appear as though it's part of the purchase order page, like it's a standard order form. Okay. So this is all I'm looking for, is to make it look complete. Now, what happens is whenever they come here and fill out this information, fill their name and so forth, and they click pay, then they get a payment link. People just say, the Vibe coder is the best, just include these payments and blah, blah, blah. But they don't go into the details of how you do it. So I'm doing this as a practical example to show you how you actually do this. So this is what I've done, and it looks all nice and clean here, even though this frame right here, this little scrollable area, goes to a different domain page. So it looks good. And when you submit the order, then everything looks good. It doesn't switch pages. Only this small iframe here updates. The rest of the page stays the same. Perfect. And all the automations work, which, by the way, if you want to know the automations of the triggers and all the other stuff to know, I'm going to go over that as well. So payment links are the way to go. I created a payment link for each service, then went into the Vibe coder and just said, please use this link, create an iframe on the page to make it look like it's the same, show the links page, not the link itself on the page. And it understood very well. It went and did exactly that. I did have to adjust it, saying, please extend the iframe area as much as you can so that there's no scrolling on the page. You still saw there was a little bit of scrolling, but anyway, I'm happy with the way it is for right now, and I'll just leave it at that. So that went through fine to get all the pricing. I created all the services page. Now there were some services I didn't want to keep on here. I just wanted to list them on Google Business Profile, but these are the services that I just at least wanted on the website. So I did have to go through and remove several of the pages, and I just simply said, please delete this menu option for this service as well as the corresponding page in the Vibe coder, and it did it, and everything was fine. So again, I think I showed you the contact page. So this right here just has the phone number, website, and then this is an actual form that's embedded in there. So that works. And then the pricing here also works as well. So if you click on this, this right here takes you to the additional page here as well. So this right here is, again, how I built the site to come up with this. And again, a little bit more work, and it's going to be done here hopefully in the next day. I'll get this published and updated, but this is a prime example of how you can actually build and redo your particular website inside of AI Studio, even if it's still in beta, because it is a great tool to use, but they just need to have the connections to other pieces inside of HighLevel to make it more native. So one of the other things I did want to sit back and make sure that you understand is whenever you use an embedded form here, this embedded form is natively integrated into HighLevel, meaning the CRM will understand the first name, last name, This right here is a custom field, the interested in service. That's a custom field. All of this stuff then gets saved with the contact record, where you can't really do that with the vibe coder. You could try to put some stuff in there, but there's no way to integrate custom fields directly into HighLevel with that I saw without doing a bunch more work. I'd much rather just embed the form, have the form work natively in HighLevel than use the vibe coder form and have it be weird. Okay, so now let me show you some of the behind the scenes stuff on how some of this stuff actually works. So here we have nothing set up. So what I want to do, go through and actually show you how this particular process works. Now, just to let you know, this right here, I'm going to switch to my agency view, go to my SaaS configurator, and here are the two plans that I have configured. AI automation services, this includes voice AI, conversation AI, and reviews AI, things like that. And then review automation services is just Google reviews. So I just call it review automation because that way, whenever those automations come into place, it's not just Google that we're dealing with here. And again, I created all the plans, set everything up. I'm not going to go through how to configure those, but once you do that, you can actually come back in here. And one of the things I do want to sit back and show you before we get there is here on the security of the SaaS configurator. This is just me, but what I've done here is I've actually got security set up where it pauses all new sub accounts. So if somebody comes in and purchases, then their account does not get, it gets created automatically using the SaaS configurator, but they're not allowed to go in and access it until you actually approve the account. Now, I did this because I kept having a lot of people with stolen credit cards log in and start creating fake accounts and things like that to test the credit card. And then what would happen in this kind of case, if you ever dealt with that, you would end up charging it, the card would get transferred and you would get the money, whatever the SaaS account is. And then all of a sudden, next thing you'd get a refund request because it was a stolen card and they want their money back. And now there's a chargeback and refund their money. That sucks. So right now, rather than prevent that, you can actually have the SaaS configurator pause all new sub accounts. I already did this once before just to show you guys this, but here's the account that was created by the account. And then this is just what it looks like. You can review it. You can decline or approve the account here. If it approved, then they can get logged in and do it. But this means that you probably already talked to the person or something like that, made sure they're real before you actually approve it. This is just the way it is because when we go through the example of this purchase, I want to show you exactly how this works. Now, here's also the other thing that sucks inside of HighLevel about AI Studio is that if you go into a regular website, if you go into just, let's just say this site right here is the original SMB 360 site. Now, this site right here for pricing, this page, when they click on this, goes to a page that has an order form built in. People have already dealt with order forms and things like that on HighLevel. But what you can do is you can come into settings right here, right? And then you can put your Stripe into test mode so you can test your order forms. Is putting that in test mode allows you to go through and test to make sure that everything works fine, like you're ordering, you're purchasing it. But here's the problem. The SaaS configurator does not execute. It doesn't. So this is the thing that kind of sucks. If you really want to test the SaaS configurator, you have to test it in live mode, which means you have to put in a credit card and actually have a purchase go through. Now, rather than having to go through and purchase for whatever, $397, $597, and then go to your Stripe account and click refund and all that other kinds of good stuff. One of the things you could do is you can actually come inside your payments area and you can create a coupon. Just create a coupon, and the coupon is going to be good for the services that you have listed here, the two services that I have, and all it does 100% discount. So what does that mean? That means if you apply the code to this particular payment link, then that particular coupon will zero out and there's zero payments that are actually charged to your card, but it's still a live example. So this configurator will fire, it'll create the account automatically, all that stuff will be done. So this is a way that you can go through and test, but you still have to go through and clean up all of the accounts, delete the accounts that you create, the sub accounts, and then clean up all that stuff inside of SaaS, because right now it's still going to show that's going to be a purchase and it's going to be recurring over and over again every single month until you delete it and cancel that particular product. But at least you're not dealing with money going back and forth to your card and having to refund and stuff like that. And then what you can do is inside of the payment link here, you can just simply come over here to the left and say, allow coupon codes. Now I'm doing this temporarily as an example to show you how this works. But whenever I do this or turn this off, I may remove that if I want to. So right now, this right here would be a cool way to do is test the SaaS configurator to make sure everything works, because you'd want to do that before it goes live, right? But you can also do this a second way. So rather than sitting back and having, if you want to offer somebody a 14-day trial or a 30-day trial or something like that, what you could end up doing is simply offering them a coupon for half off or 1 month's off. Not the one I set up was reoccurring. So just every month it offers 100% and it basically is free. Now you would never do that in business, but what you could do is I have one coupon code and say, limit this to one customer per usage. And it's good for whatever 1 month's value is. So you could tell the customer when they sign in, please use the coupon code, whatever it is, and you'll get 1 month free. And then that way, the first month they're not charged, the coupon covers that. And the second month they're actually charged. So that may be another way of handling that versus setting up free trials inside of your SaaS configurator plan. It's completely up to you, but that's just another cool way of doing it. So now that we've dealt with payment links, coupons, getting the AI Studio website set up here, let me show you how all of this works. So I'm going to go to pricing and I'm going to come down here and click on just the AI services. Now I'm going to come down here and we'll just do Bob Johnson. And I am going to use my email address here. I don't want it to conflict with anything else. This is my email address because I want the login emails to come to me for this. But right now I'm going to pause this so I can actually put in the card and I'm going to hit submit because this is live and I don't want to show you my payment information. So I'll be right back. I almost forgot. I didn't apply the coupon. So right now what I've done here is if we take a look here, this is the coupon code, just test123. And from this, if you click apply, you see you're given the 100% discount. So now it took the discount. Now there's zero cost for this. And now I'm going to go through and process the payment. Be right back. Okay, perfect. And this is what we end up getting here. So notice that on the website here, everything went through and here's what you get. Thank you for your payment. Now I will let you know there is no way to change this default message on a payment link. So right now, that's one of the things that is going to be challenging. Typically, I would have this redirected if you want to potentially redirect this to another page. I'm not sure if you want to do that, but the payment link is completed at this particular point, and then now everything is in motion. So the product has been purchased, and now the SaaS configurator is going to be creating Bob Johnson's account here. So let's go ahead and take a look. But all of this from the website is done. So now if we come back in here to our account, we should see there it is. So that all got created. Now, if we come back here and look at our sub accounts, and more specifically, if we look at the SaaS configurator on the security, now we see that we not only have the one account that we had, now we have Bob Johnson's account. So now we have this other account that we have to decline or approve that in order to move forward with it. So this is the SaaS configurator automatically creating the sub account. So right there, there's the account and it's just waiting. It's not active yet. It's still waiting for approval, which is a security measure. But if you didn't want to do that, if you wanted to term and didn't use that security option, it would go directly into active and everything would be fine. So that's that. And we've got that working. So the SaaS configurator fired. Now let's take a quick look at the workflow that's involved with that. So I'm trying to give you guys everything here. And I'm going to be updating this as HighLevel updates AI Studio and make the connectors more prevalent. I may update the order pages when they have those ready. But for right now, what I've got set up should be suffice some work. But if we take a look here, oh, you know what? I think I might have messed this stuff up here because these are, notice I've got an error here on these. These are triggers. Let me walk through here because I had to remove some of the products and recreate them. And I didn't come in here and do this. So let's just do this live. So right now, as far as the trigger, you want to look at the order submitted. That is the trigger that you're looking for. Now, what you're looking for on the left side is when you do this, let me go through and just remove this, and I'll remove this, and we'll just recreate them here. So right now, I already have order submitted. So let me move myself over here so we can see this. I'm going to try to blow this up a little bit because it's kind of hard to see. Order submitted, I'm going to add a filter. The filter is going to be the order source. And I'm going to say is. You've got multiple different things that you could choose from here, but I'm going to choose the bottom one here that you couldn't see that says payment link. Now, this is just for payment link. So I don't want this thing to fire on any payment link that's out there. I want it to fire only on a specific link selected on a specific product. That way it's very specific because I only have 2 products in here right now, but I can configure other payment links for other services. And then this workflow would still fire if I wasn't specific enough. So just take me another filter. I come down here and say, let's do global product. And we'll say is. Here's the 2 services. I'll just say AI automation services. Now, notice that here you need 2 separate triggers for each particular product. Okay. Because here you can't do, this doesn't allow you to do multiple you can only select one service here, if that makes sense. So that way you could say one trigger is when they click on the payment link for the AI services. That's one trigger. Then I can do another trigger, do the exact same thing where the order is submitted, add a filter. Filter is going to come down here is, oh, sorry. The order source is payment link. And then the filter, we're going to do a global product. And we're going to select the other product on this list with review automation. Boom. So I'm just going to save that. But now these are the triggers. But here you can do whatever you want. You can notify the team, whatever. But these are the triggers in this example of what you need. Now, if I were doing this order form on a website or a funnel, I wouldn't do this. I'd much rather do order form submission. Because if I'm already using an order form that's already pre-built and the products are connected to that form, and I like the two-step form myself, but I can't do that here. I much rather use the order form submission. That way I can be very clear on the order form that I'm actually wanting it to use. And I can be specific on the order form submitted, like what website or what funnel is this thing on. So that right there is the automation that handles this. This right here is one of the emails that you end up getting. You get this new SaaS client and it just, here's the information, Bob's account, and basically it just says, hey, you need to make sure you go in and update this. So this right here is an email that HighLevel sends you whenever you get the SaaS configurator all set up. But hopefully that right there gives you an idea of at least how to, this is what I've done so far. So I hope you could use this to actually do things for yourself. But this did take a few workarounds to actually get done. It bothers me how other creators just throw things out there very generically. They're not very specific, but then you struggle, the end user, like I did, you struggle for hours and hours trying to make a connection to trying to just sell a simple product in your Stripe account, like a SaaS configurator product, but you don't know how to put those pieces together. If you've learned something here, again, smash that like button, let YouTube know that you liked it. Leave me a comment if you have any questions. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.